Welcome. Welcome everyone. Both those here in the room at the Museum of Contemporary Art and those who are watching online from all across Australia. Welcome to this very special Unmasking Epilepsy event for Purple Day 2021. My name is Carol Ireland. I'm the CEO and Managing Director for Epilepsy Action Australia. I would like to acknowledge the traditional owners of the land in which we meet today, the Gadigal people of the Eora Nation, as the traditional custodians of country throughout Australia and their connections to land. I also acknowledge the traditional custodians of country throughout Australia and their connection to land, sea and community. I would like to pay my respects to their elders past, present and future, and extend that respect to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people with us tonight. It is an understatement to say that we are absolutely delighted to be able to hold this event tonight after its cancellation last year, of course, due to COVID-19 restrictions. What a year it has been. A really tough year, but we have persisted, supporting those with epilepsy, and here we are tonight. We're raising epilepsy awareness through the most recognisable landmark in this country. We would like to thank our valued supporters, those who have helped us through sponsorship tonight: Stuart Brown, ASI, Sear Medical, UCB and Tilray. I would like to welcome both our medical colleagues and our research colleagues tonight, and you'll hear from some of our medical colleagues in a short while. I acknowledge my fellow directors, and I'm going to ask them each to stand briefly, just for the benefit of those in the room. Those of you online won't see them, but just so you know who they are. The Chair of Epilepsy Action Australia's board, Susan Price. Directors Lisa Dive, Roy Marrett, and Roy is here with his wife Annie and sons Abe and Tom, all Epilepsy Action supporters. Martin Lacos and his wife Louise. Alastair Daly. And Erica Sue Gregan. Of course, Erica herself has raised a son with epilepsy. Just quickly, also our committee members, Greg Kabashima, Anurada Vithanage and Malcolm Freem. Now, I know that our longest standing board member is actually online. She's in Victoria, so special greetings to Sue Ronaldson. I also welcome our chair and long-standing director, Graham Cowley, and his wife Diane. Graham has himself lived with a lifelong diagnosis of epilepsy, and he and Di are steadfast supporters of Epilepsy Action and tireless ambassadors for the cause. I welcome our dear friend Vivian Gregg. Vivian's late husband, the great Tony Gregg, we may well need to stop the clapping soon or we'll go way over time. But Tony Gregg, Vivian's late husband, himself lived with epilepsy and was an ambassador and a director of our board for 2 decades. I warmly welcome Barry and Joy Lambert, whose support in research of universities in Sydney and in the United States into cannabinoid therapeutics as a treatment for epilepsy has made so much possible and so much to come. And of course, that's in honour of their beautiful granddaughter, Caitlin. And I welcome some of our Epilepsy Action ambassadors. You will see them online, but I will mention someone not speaking tonight but has been on the media for us only today, Paul Wade, former Socceroos captain, and his wife Val, a great friend of ours. Now, I will finish up quickly now. I want to welcome our donors and supporters. There are many of you in the room and you make it possible for us to do what we do. Most importantly, tonight, I welcome people with epilepsy, those of you online and those of you in the room. Some of these people are also our volunteers and our ambassadors. In my 15 years as CEO of Epilepsy Action, I've had the privilege of standing beside you to raise epilepsy awareness. I'm often in awe of your courage, your determination, and your reciprocal support to Epilepsy Action. You are why I do what I do. Now, I'm actually really excited to introduce our MC for the evening. You will be treated tonight, let me tell you. Catherine Alcorn is a multi-award winning artist, renowned for her powerhouse vocals, yes, you'll be treated, and her razor-sharp wit. In 2018, Catherine made her triumphant USA and Sydney Opera House debut in her most famous role as the Divine Miss Bet. Her smash hit show, she channeled Bette Midler. So it won her the Best Cabaret Production in the 2018 Broadway World Awards. Please welcome Catherine Alcorn.
What an honour it is to be here with you this evening. I am your very over-enthusiastic MC, and I will be making you clap. I'm sorry, Carol, it's true, I haven't been in a room with a clapping audience for a long time. Okay, I will be making you clap and spend this evening. We must be the luckiest folks in Sydney right now, honestly, to be here together in between these two amazing landmarks in Australia, to be here in a room with lovely food, lovely drop, wonderful company, and not wearing any masks. Am I right? It's an absolute treat. And I would love to say hello to everybody around the world. Welcome to Happy World Purple Day. I will get there. World Purple Day. We are so thrilled that you are able to join us this evening. Okie dokie. So, speaking of unmasking, that is exactly why we are here tonight, to unmask epilepsy and to celebrate World Purple Day. Tonight is about raising awareness for epilepsy. It might not be the grandest, greatest fundraiser we will ever have. That will be next year, ladies and gentlemen, that will be next year. But tonight is about awareness, and tonight is about celebrating each other and being here this evening and honouring those who live with epilepsy and their families and everyone affected. 250,000 people in Australia live with epilepsy. So you can imagine just how far that reach goes to carers, families, and those affected from people living with epilepsy. Who remembers the 70s? Who is 70? Well, and they're brave enough, well done. So next year will be the 70th birthday, the 70th anniversary of Epilepsy Action Australia. So as I said, yes, go ahead. Yes. I will be treating you to a little tune from the 70s later just to help take you back. And it's by an artist for which I wear a different wig. Hers is orange. Now, I heard that the theme this evening was a touch of purple. All I heard was as much purple as possible, so here we are. Now, the reason we are here, Epilepsy Action Australia provides services for people with epilepsy in Australia and their communities, including information, support, education, and investments in research. Now, you must bear with me this evening, ladies, gentlemen, and the fabulous in between, because you see I'm not wearing my glasses. I have these fabulous bright shining lights, of which I have missed so much over the last year and a half. And I have these fabulous lashes on, so you can see these right here. So I've got these fabulous notes given to me by Carol, and I insist on getting through every single one of them. No, I don't need your glasses, darling, thank you so much. Doesn't go with the shoes. Okay, now, as you learn more about epilepsy this evening, and as you are treated to some wonderful entertainment, thank you, we would like you to consider making a tax deductible. So I thought I was in Canberra there for a second. A tax deductible donation. There is also an online auction already live, which closes at 10 p.m. tonight. So to take a peek, this is getting a little technical, but stick with me, folks. To take a peek and bid on an item of interest, there should be your little QR codes, which we have all become very familiar with over the last little while. You can just take the photo and do your little QR code thingy, and then you'll be taken to all of the auction items that we've got here. And we really tonight, we ask you to dig as deep as you can. We understand that a lot has changed over the last 18 or so months, but really tonight is about awareness and donating as much as you can, folks. If you are in the room, there is the QR code there on your table which you can scan. Look how technical this is. Isn't this wonderful? An office massage for up to 18 people. That sounds fun. You can go to Adelaide to get one. Go to Brisbane. You wouldn't bother going to Perth. Hi, Perth. Oh, sapphire and diamond earrings. You can see there are some fabulous items for you to bid on this evening, folks. Okay, now proceeds from the auction and all donations will go directly to Epilepsy Action Australia so that they can continue to provide much needed essential free services to those living with epilepsy in Australia. Chocolate masterclass for 8 in Sydney. So this is kind of my vibe here, folks. Private overnight stay in Sydney Harbour cruise for 2. I mean, my goodness, there is just so much to choose from there. So do not be shy. Please dig deep this evening. And now we have a very, very special message, from the young person who created World Purple Day when she was just 8 years old.
Hello everyone, I'm Cassidy, founder of Purple Day from Nova Scotia, Canada. I created Purple Day in 2008 when I was just 8 years old. I started it to get people talking about epilepsy, to help dispel the myths and stigma that come with it. I wanted to let people know that they aren't alone and that epilepsy is okay to talk about. Epilepsy Action Australia is one of our global partners, and this year they have done something amazing. They managed to get the Sydney Opera House to light up purple tonight in support of epilepsy awareness. I want to say huge congratulations to Carol and her whole team. The Purple Day team hopes to join Epilepsy Action Australia next year to help celebrate Purple Day at the Sydney Opera House with all of you guys, and I can't wait to meet you all. Have a great night at your Unmasking Epilepsy event. Thank you for everything you guys are doing and have done. Truly have an amazing night. Bye for now.
Cassidy Megan, everyone, what an overachiever. 8 years old, isn't she amazing? We would just love to have Cassidy with us here next year so we can have our fingers crossed for that for 2022. Now, would we like to hear a word from one of our sponsors? Yes is the answer to that question, ladies and gentlemen. Would we please clap a big round of applause for Mr. Stuart Brown, who has been associated with Epilepsy Action since 2015. Mr. Stuart Brown. Technology. Stuart Brown, everybody. Okay. He didn't have much to say, but very colourful. Nice logos. Yes, moving on. Sure, Carol's just going like this, so why not? Oh my goodness. Okay, I am a mother of a 3.5-year-old, and I'm genuinely very excited for this next guest that we have joining us here virtually this evening, Mr. Lachy Gillespie, who I think some of our younger fans in the audience, our parakeets over there, may know who this gentleman is. Lachy is the purple wiggle, guys. Well, this side of the room did really well. Lachy is the purple wiggle, guys. Oh. And I met with Carol and Erica last week it was, and I was genuinely chuffed when I heard that Lachy was an ambassador of Epilepsy Australia. But it went beyond the colour of his top. It turns out that Lachy's brother and Lachy's niece are both people living with epilepsy. So the connection was just so authentic, and it's just so exciting that we've been able to we will spend some time with Lachy, but he was able to sit down and send us a little message this evening. They're in New Zealand on tour at the moment. So here's the message that Lachy has. And now this is not just a sit back, relax and eat your entree kind of thing, okay? Well, I'm going to have you work here with me tonight, folks, okay? So Lachy will say a few words and then you'll know what to do.
Hello everybody, my name is Lachy from the Wiggles, and my favourite colour is purple. It's purple day, it's purple night, and first and foremost I'm very sorry that I can't be there with you tonight at the Opera House, celebrating and getting the message out there about epilepsy and epilepsy awareness. Purple is my favourite colour. I hope you're wearing purple too. If you're watching this video, we are finishing up our tour of New Zealand, which is why I can't be there with you tonight. I have a very close connection with epilepsy. My brother was born with epilepsy, Cameron, and he has had a daughter with his wife, Kelly, and Charlotte suffers from Dravet syndrome. I'd just like to say a very big thank you to Epilepsy Action Australia for all the wonderful work they do, all the wonderful nurses that help out with family support. If you would like to tonight, there's a silent auction. There are maybe some tickets to our big shows in April this year, the Sydney shows. So if you'd like to support Epilepsy Action Australia and bid for those tickets, it'll be a really wonderful show, and we really hope to see you there wearing purple, of course. So, would you like to sing Rockabye Bear together? For Epilepsy Action Australia, for Purple Day, for my beautiful niece Charlotte. This is her favourite song. I'll sing the first verse and then you can sing by yourself.
I'll help you. Okay? Watch me.
Happy World Purple Day, everybody. Raising awareness for epilepsy.
Totally
Action
doing
Australia.
a duet with Lachy.
And epilepsy all over the world. Everybody clap. Everybody sing.
La 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 la.
Bow to your partner.
G'day.
And then you turn around.
Yippee!
Hands in the air. Rockabye bear. Bear's now asleep. Shh, shh, shh. Bear's now asleep. Shh, shh, shh. It's your turn to sing. For those of you watching at home on the live stream, you can do the actions too. I can't do the actions because I'm playing piano. So it's up to you. You ready? I'll count you in. 1, 2, 3, go.
Everybody clap.
Nice.
Everybody sing. La 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 la. Bow to your partner. G'day. Then you turn around. Yippee! Hands in the air. Rockabye bear. Bear's now asleep. Shh, shh, shh. Oh, that was wonderful. Oh, I hope everybody at home.
Hopefully see you next year on World Purple Day.
Everybody wave goodbye. Bye, Lachy. Oh, I hope everybody at home was singing along as well. That was so wonderful. What a gem. Okay, all right. Now. I hope that our next sponsor certainly does better than Stuart Brown, because he decided not to show up. So, shall we hear from Seizure Medical? Yay!
Seizure Medical was
Yes.
founded to solve accessibility challenges in healthcare. Through relationships with doctors and hospitals, we've reduced the time to diagnosis for over 6,000 people. Our technologies deliver an exceptional patient experience. With systems that allow for showering and water-soluble adhesives, Seizure Medical is the choice provider of home diagnostics. Together, we can empower people to better manage their health.
Our next speaker is actually here, so it's a really good start. He is a specialist in neurology and clinical pharmacology, and is the current president of the Epileptic Society of Australia. With blessings from Gladys and Dan, he has been able to join us from Melbourne this evening. And I might mention that I have learnt a new word: epileptologist. Say it with me one time: epileptologist. Is what I heard from over this side of the room. Would you please welcome Mr. Terry O'Brien?
As a Melburnian, I can only show, instead of being purple, I'm actually a little green tonight, but at least we still have the AFL football home and the MCG. So, look, it's on behalf of the Epilepsy Society of Australia, which is the professional organisation representing over 300 specialists in epilepsy and epilepsy researchers. We really congratulate Epilepsy Action Australia and Carol and a committee and board for the absolutely extraordinary work that they have done over the last 70 years for people with epilepsy. Just to name some of the really important initiatives, a number of which have been in partnership with the medical community. First, the Australian Pregnancy Register, which I've been involved with for more than 20 years, which is supported both financially and also logistically by Epilepsy Action Australia. This register has enrolled now about 3,000 women across the country who have become pregnant while taking taking medications for epilepsy. And as many of you would know, one of the greatest fears of women with epilepsy is whether they will have a child that is affected by their medications or by their epilepsy or by both. And this register started at a time where there was an extraordinary amount of unknowns for these women, and has provided information that we all use in our practice now to advise women how to have safer and more confident pregnancies, and has seen a significant reduction in the incidence of birth defects. And so it's been a really important initiative, and it was the honours to say without the support of Epilepsy Action Australia, that register still would not be existing today. They've also done many other really important initiatives. More recently, there's been an increasing awareness of the very devastating complication of having epilepsy, which we call SUDEP, sudden unexplained death in epilepsy. It's the most common cause of young people dying suddenly in Australia and worldwide. More than 100 people a year die of SUDEP. And for a decade ago, people hardly had even heard of it, and certainly doctors didn't talk about it with patients, and most patients were unaware. And when families suffered from SUDEP, one of the greatest complaints that they had for my profession was that nobody told their loved one that this was a possibility, and if they knew about it, they could have done something differently. So Epilepsy Action Australia has partnered with the International SUDEP organisation to introduce a checklist, which is a simple, easy checklist that can be done by patients or people with epilepsy that highlights when they're at increased risk, and then to raise it with their doctors and implement ways to reduce that risk. They also instituted a 7-day-a-week nurses hotline that is available across Australia. People who are diagnosed with epilepsy have enormous numbers of questions. I know that from my own practice, and they're just hungry for information. Being able to be able to access nurses 7 days a week across Australia has been incredibly valuable. And there's been many other initiatives, investment and partnership in research across the country has been really important in advancing knowledge and advancing treatment and care for people with epilepsy. It has been an extraordinary year we've had over the last 12 months. Everyone's been talking COVID. But conditions like epilepsy haven't gone away, and in fact, for people with epilepsy, there's been increasing challenges in accessing health care and fears about the vaccine, whether that will make my epilepsy worse or not, should I take it? And so having organisations like Epilepsy Action Australia to support people through this fairly challenging time in our society is incredibly important. So thank you very much for inviting us to be involved. It's a great excuse to take my wife to Hamilton last night. And I'll just, Kermit the Frog will just move off the stage now.
Thank you, Terry. You bring up such a good point there. One of the members of my team, his mother lives with epilepsy, and she had her first experience of epilepsy when she was 20 years old, and she was told that she would never have children. And she went on to have 4 beautiful children. One of them is my band member here with us this evening. And it's all thanks to the work that Terry and Carol and everyone at Epilepsy Action Australia does. So we're so honoured to have you here with us this evening. How was Hamilton? Thumbs up, 2 thumbs up. Did you like the fireworks that we organised for you as well here as a welcome? Yes. Okay, you should come more often, Terry, that's true. Now, this very short video, we do, I'm sorry, it says UCB, I thought it was USB there for a second. That was my lashes playing up again. I'm so sorry, girls. Now, we'd like to share some first-hand insights from people living with epilepsy. This short video was created by UCB, one of our sponsors and a partner in many of Epilepsy Action's patient initiatives. We would like to run that video now. Thank you.
My head just went crazy and I was just hearing music in my head.
I just started getting this really vague deja vu feeling.
I feel strange, very, very dizzy. My eyes burn and I get a really bad headache.
When Lila was first diagnosed with epilepsy, we were obviously very scared because we didn't know what that meant the future was going to hold for her and our family.
Epilepsy has totally taken over our life and controls our life. There is nothing Cooper can do today that he could do 4 years ago.
I wasn't able to swim anymore. I wasn't able to take a bath anymore.
There are so many different types of seizures.
Cooper can have up to 20 seizures a day. Most of them are the same, but on some days we could start with tonic and we finish with absent seizures and have a grand mal for dinner.
I wish that people treated me normally, so that when I meet someone, I don't introduce myself by saying, "Hi, I'm Noah and I'm epileptic," but I say, "Hi, I'm Noah."
That's so beautiful. Thank you, UCB, for putting together that video. We will be hearing from one of the featured guests in the video again shortly. I think now is a really good time to remind you that we are here for awareness, but also to fundraise for this evening. We've just heard real people, seen their faces, heard their voices, heard their stories. And so I ask you, I can see people wiping away the tears at the tables. Now is the time to dig deep and check in that QR code and do some bidding. And any way that you can find, any way to donate this evening, we do have Epilepsy Action Australia staff who will be coming around to have a word with you. If you would like to make a private donation, then there are the staff available this evening to come around and have those conversations with you. Okay, now we have a very short announcement. In the lead up to Purple Day 2021, Epilepsy Action held a design competition asking people affected by epilepsy to design a mask or a poster dispelling epilepsy myths. Epilepsy Action Australia chose Paula Searle from Pottsville in New South Wales as the winner, and we will display her artwork there, please. And the really moving message that Paula said in submitting with her poster, she wrote, "Epilepsy is such a complex condition, and I have found that many people have very little understanding or empathy with those of us that live with it. People judge your appearance on the day. They don't see the chronic illness or the effect it has on us and our carers or family. If I can in some way use my skill to spread awareness, this hopefully helps to improve people's lives." So that was the winning choice, and I think she deserves a massive round of applause for that. And please, she has written pause, listen, epilepsy, alienate, stigmatise, exhaust. So they're obviously some of the words that she experiences in her life, and she has made that wonderful artwork. So we congratulate you. And there is also a People's Choice Award that was voted via Instagram and Facebook. And the winner is Amanda Lees from Pimpana in Queensland. And Amanda said with her submission, "I wanted to raise awareness that epilepsy is an ability, not a disability, and that I am still me, even though I have epilepsy." So I think that's another stunning message there. So congratulations to both Paula and Amanda. Your prizes will be sent to you in the coming weeks. If you're watching at home, we will get Australia Post to work as quickly as possible to get those to you. Give them another round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. All right, we would love to hear from one of our other sponsors here with us this evening, Tilray. It happens sometimes. It happens. Now, in the previous video that we heard from UCB, we had some wonderful speakers in there, and we have another fantastic moment for you. Did anybody see The Project last night? Did anybody watch Channel 10 and The Project last night? We are going to hear, yes, we're going to hear from a wonderful family now in Melbourne. Very special supporter of EAA, and he's a truly loving father and a genius who has a very special video that they have put together for us this evening. We will then be crossing live to Melbourne to say hello to the folks down there. And this is a little bit of a different one, but if you would please sit back and fill up your glass and enjoy this TED E talk.
I want to tell you about the worst meal I've ever had. 2 years ago, I was out for dinner with my daughter Lila and my son Rourke. My wife Sheridan was on her way back from the airport from work. So there we were, Lila telling one of her funny little stories, when mid-sentence, her hands just froze, like this. And I was like, Lila, are you okay? And she just toppled off the side of her chair, just like the electricity had been pulled from her body. I screamed out for her, Lila, and she started shaking uncontrollably on the ground. And I yelled out for someone, call an ambulance. And as she was shaking, I reached down towards her and she stopped shaking and she was just limp. I just hugged her and I just hugged her. Somehow at that point, I was able to gather my thoughts. Maybe she choked on something. We were mid-conversation, she was eating something. Maybe she had something lodged in her throat. So I reached around towards her head and I tried to open her jaw, but it was completely clenched shut, jammed. And I pulled and I was able to wrench her jaw open and some blood trickled out. And I was like, what the hell's that? I don't know what that is. And then at the same time, I could hear my son, Rourke, in the corner of the restaurant, just crying, wailing. And I was like, Rourke, it's okay. She's going to be okay. She's going to be all right. She is. But in my heart, I thought Lila was dead. I thought, or if not dead, she was brain dead at the best. In this mad panic, another person who was having dinner handed me their phone and said, it's 000. They've got an ambulance on the way. It's 000. Talk to them. They asked me if she was still breathing. I leant down and I just could hear the whisper, this mere shallowest whisper of her breath. So she was breathing. But was she responding to anything? No. Then I had another brainwave. I thought, Lila, Mummy's on her way. Stay awake for Mummy. And finally, she sort of slightly opened her eyes and I was like, there's a glimmer of life there. Maybe I just keep saying that, Lila, stay awake for Mummy. Stay awake for Mummy, she's coming. And that's when Mummy walked in the door. That's when Sherry arrived and she rushed towards Lila, picked her up as I tried to explain what had gone on and she instinctively just cuddled her and made her feel safe and Lila just cuddled into Mummy. You could tell there was something there. And then I thought about Rourke crying in the corner of the restaurant. I thought, I need to protect him from this moment. So I took him outside. I didn't want him to see what was going on. And I said, Rourke, let's go outside. Let's see if we can find the ambulance. She's going to be okay. The ambulance is coming. We need to make sure we can see it. It honestly felt like half an hour before the paramedics arrived, but it was probably 5 minutes. They carried Lila to the ambulance. And me and Sherry looked at each other and we kind of mirrored each other's grief. We just knew something horrible had happened and we didn't know what was going to happen next. And I said to Sherry, I'll take Rourke home and organise Nan and Pop to look after him and I'll meet you at the hospital. But the ambulance didn't move. I peered in through the window and all I could see were Lila's 2 feet just lying beneath 2 ambos and Sherry. Sherry looked out at me and shook her head. She was having another seizure. And then, after a few more minutes, another ambulance arrived. Like, why is another ambulance arriving? Why aren't they going? I turned to Rourke again and said, Lila is going to be okay. She's going to be okay. Trust me. Eventually, the ambulance drove off and I was able to take Rourke home. I called up their Nan and Pop, explained to them what the hell was going on, which I didn't really know, and arranged for them to come over and help. When I got to the Royal Children's, I had the agonising weight of trying to find out where she was. It had been 4 hours since Lila had collapsed to the floor. 4 hours since the worst meal of my life. And finally, I was able to find her. Finally, I was able to walk around the corner and see she was alive. She was alive. But she didn't even recognise me at all. In fact, she cuddled into her mama even more. In fact, she was confused. She didn't know who I was. She couldn't talk. She was afraid of who I was. But she was alive. Nothing else mattered. She was alive. And so this began a journey for myself, for my family, and for Lila, trying to find answers. Over the next few months, she had 8 of these tonic-clonic seizures. That's what they're called. She had ECGs, she had EEGs, and geez, it was tiring. After her second tonic-clonic, they confirmed that she had epilepsy. But they didn't know why. She also started making this sound. She started just sort of mid-conversation going, huh. And then she'd be back. She'd do this 40, 50 times a day. When she did one of these, when she was doing a test in an EEG, the operator saw the brain pattern, saw the extra electricity in her brain and said, oh, that's an absent seizure. And when he thought about that, she's having 50 of those a day. How bad is that going to be for her development? So we need to do something for her. So as part of our journey, we found this group called Epilepsy Action Australia, and they're just amazing people, amazing Hearts of Gold, and they sent Lila a range of stuff to try and help her and us to destigmatise what she now had. We learned that more than 250,000 Australians have epilepsy. That's 1% of our country. 1%. Think about that for a second. If 250,000 Aussies have this neurological disorder, then I bet if you asked around, one of your friends has it. Perhaps your auntie, your uncle, your niece, a nephew, someone at school, someone you work with. Perhaps your daughter has it. 1 in 10 Australians will also have a seizure in their lives, just out of the blue. 300 people a year die from their epilepsy in Australia. It's pretty frightening stuff. As part of their care for us, Epilepsy Action Australia also sent Lila this bear called a cuddly Ted E bear. And the E stands for epilepsy. Every March they hold a day for epilepsy awareness called Purple Day. It's their big fundraiser for the year. It's always held in March, and Lila is so excited by it. She had arranged for her entire school to have an epilepsy Purple Day. Then COVID hit, and all the Purple Days shut down across the nation. All of the planned events, gone. Where people get together and donate, finished. The thing is, epilepsy didn't stop for Lila. She still took her medicine. She still couldn't swim alone. She still couldn't climb trees. She couldn't be left alone in the shower. And she was devastated that all of her schoolmates couldn't celebrate Purple Day with her. She is just one of the 250,000 people who that was taken away from them. So I decided to do something. I remembered that Lila loved her baby bear. I also figured that because of COVID, a lot of people were going to be short of money. But you know who still has a lot of money in a global pandemic and an economic downturn? Billionaires. Am I right? They've got all the cash in the world. Not only do this 1% still have lots of money, they significantly increased their wealth during the last year. So this is where Max comes in. Now you know why I've got him here. He's named Maximilian because he's the $1 million teddy bear. He's a teddy bear, just like Lila's baby bear, but with a twist. He's dressed by Christian Kimber, who's the 2019 National Designer of the Year. So he looks like $1 million. I think we can all agree. Christian's brother also happens to have epilepsy. So Lila and I had originally hoped that a billionaire or a philanthropist with a heart of gold would make a tax-deductible donation of $1 million and buy Max to help the 250,000 Australians like my beautiful Lila with epilepsy. The lucky 1% helping the unlucky 1%. Max really tried to get out there and find a home. We made videos, we posted on social media, set up a sweet website, emailed the wealthy 1%. He was even written about in articles all over the world. I guess I figured, and Lila figured, that because every Aussie on the Australian Financial Review Rich List has a net wealth of over $1 billion in 2020, maybe the lucky 1% would step up and help the unlucky 1% in these extraordinary times. Sadly, we haven't yet been able to find an amazing billionaire with a heart of gold to help out Lila and the 250,000 Aussies with epilepsy. Yet. Because now, Lila and I are turning our attention to the 99%. We're turning to you guys. It's time for every Aussie out there to share in the bear. Because if there's one thing us Aussies are good at, it's at pulling together and helping those out in need. So if you have $2, $5, $100, $50, or maybe $1,000, or maybe even $355,733.26, go to $1millionTeddyBear.com and donate to Share in the Bear. Because the more you share in the bear, the more it shows Australians care about the 250,000 Australians living with epilepsy like my beautiful Lila. Here she is. Lila. Lila is a special girl. She's a special girl. And she's taught me that life is about never, ever, ever giving up. Life is about helping others, and life is about always trying to keep that ray of sunshine alive. So listen to your heart, like Lila does, and let's find Max a home. I think we can do it. I know we can do it. Together, we can do anything we put our minds to.
Would everybody please put their hands together to welcome the Wedelton family from Melbourne. They're here with us this evening. Good evening. We have Rourke, Alex, Lila and Sherry, good evening, family. How are we?
Very good, thank you. Thanks for having us.
Oh, such a pleasure. Yeah, give my bear back. Lila, I am loving the purple hair. You look absolutely sensational. How are you feeling about today? She feels wonderful. Alex, what an incredible initiative you have started. Congratulations on last night and making it to the project. I mean, for Maximilian to make his national TV debut was just sensational. How are you feeling? What has the response been to your story last night?
The response has been just phenomenal. I think last time I checked, we were $14 short of $65,000 raised in a night, which is obviously amazing. And so we're just really excited that we've kind of made our little contribution, and over 1,200 people have donated to it. Just shows the 99% of these amazing hearts that have opened up their hearts and listened to the story and shared the whole epilepsy thing. I think people are amazed at how many people have epilepsy, like Lila. And even today, Lila at school had a purple day at school, and she raised $183 for people wearing purple.
Well done, Lila. That's wonderful. That's just fantastic. Well, I've got another 100-odd people here who are going to help out our fund this evening. Can you tell me what more you're going to be doing with Maximilian over the coming months? He's so young. I thought he looked a little bit rough around the edges there, but in fact, he's only a few weeks old.
Yeah, he's only a few weeks old, but he's I don't know if you've seen the website, but he's hung out with a lot of celebrities already. So he's hung out with Paul Wade, I think you mentioned earlier. He's hung out with Tommy Little, Russell Howcroft, Melissa Doyle, all sorts of amazing people. Peter Fitzsimons as well, even Lachy the Purple Wiggle had a bit of a cuddle with Max, trying to find a home. So he's just going to keep knocking on doors, seeing if there's any billionaire philanthropists in the audience. Now's your chance. Get in before anyone else does. And it's still open to find a loving home. But yeah, we just think Max he's a lovely guy. He doesn't have too many demands. He's quite well house trained. So,
and he's dressed to kill. I mean, it looks amazing. Am I right? Sherry, if I could ask you that the story that Alex shared was obviously harrowing, and we've got a lot of families and friends in here this evening who have shared the same experience. How has Epilepsy Action Australia been beneficial to you and your family, and how important is it for us to continue to raise funds for these, for these amazing charities that continue to help us so much?
I can honestly tell you from the bottom of my heart that they've been incredibly supportive. The weird thing about epilepsy, and I guess that's why our family are on a bit of the journey to share our story and get awareness out there, is that there's so much unknown about epilepsy, and we've seen a number of different neurologists and doctors and all sorts of medical practitioners who all have differing opinions, different advice. We've been told many things which I've found out that are just categorically wrong. And I've just found like a wealth of information, a wealth of support, a wealth of different ways of looking at it, support groups, you name it. And, it's what they've offered our families, I guess, just an ability to process it and help us kind of move forward and understand that it's manageable. Really.
Yeah, and sometimes even it's okay to question your doctor, because often they don't have any idea actually about epilepsy, whereas the Epilepsy Action Australia people know so much, and we've seen them at conferences and stuff, and we've just learned so much from them, and it's amazing. And I think we're talking about hopefully the nurse line was maybe in danger because of Purple Day not happening last year, and hopefully raising the funds can help that happen, because it's really important to be able to talk to people who actually know about it.
That's the thing. Communication is so important, and so is that sense of community. So, knowing that Maximilian was only known to the community until last night is such a wonderful thing. I mean, you must be feeling so hopeful about the future and getting to that $1 million goal.
Yeah, we're really excited. I mean, on the donation thing, some people put little messages, and there was one that was just really so beautiful, which was like a 10-year-old kid had said, I raised money during lockdown by painting pictures. I was looking for a cause to donate my money to, so I finally found it, and they donated $100, and it just like makes your heart explode. It's just so beautiful that the story of epilepsy in Lila is so meaningful to so many people, and it's giving a voice to the hundreds of thousands of people who are living with it, and then all the people who are related to them or know them. So Because when we start to think about it, it's almost every person in Australia probably knows someone who has epilepsy. So it's so amazingly prevalent. So just getting that awareness out there is really, 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 really great.
Well, I think I speak on behalf of everybody here in the room to the Wedelton family. A massive congratulations and thank you for all of the incredible work and initiative that you are doing and taking. And Alex, I am going to give you the floor for a minute because I do feel as though there might be one more message that you want to send out to the room before we farewell you folks this evening.
Yeah, I just think, we've all got this opportunity on Purple Day to make a real contribution to really spread the message around epilepsy to as many people as we can. So, when you finish up tonight, go and talk to everyone about it. Make a donation if you can. And as I say, hit up some squillionaires on social media and see if we can get some more support to help the Epilepsy Action guys keep doing the amazing things.
Well, thank you, Wedeltons. It has been lovely for you to spend the evening with us here in Sydney. We would love to send you off with a big Happy Purple Day. The room, can we say on 3, Happy Purple Day? 1, 2, 3. Happy Purple Day. We're going to clap you out. We'll see you soon. Thank you, guys. Oh, God, that's amazing. He is just such a genius to be doing that. If you now is another time for do not forget about the QR code and anything that you can afford to donate this evening. We were so grateful. I can see plates of foods coming out. What's happening? What are we up to? What's happening over at this table up here? Are they some more hors d'oeuvres or what are we doing here, folks? Yummy is the answer to all of my questions. Yummy food. Well, that's a good thing. Okay. Now we have a very, very special guest in the house this evening. Dr. Caitlin Parrott. I will be welcoming Dr. Parrott to the stage in a minute. She practices at Sharp Neurology and is a staff specialist at the Royal Prince Alfred Hospital. And I am told that she is one of the amazing brains behind this evening and one of the reasons that we are all here this evening tonight. So would you please put your hands together for Dr. Caitlin Parrott.
Thank you so much for the introduction and thank you for having us all here tonight. I'm honoured tonight to be representing our New South Wales Comprehensive Epilepsy Service. This consists of the adult comprehensive epilepsy services at Prince of Wales, Westmead and Royal Prince Alfred Hospital and the paediatric centres at the Children's Hospital at Randwick and Westmead Children's Hospital. I'm a little bit biased, but I can say our service is a collection of really wonderful, caring, talented, highly skilled people, including clinicians, nurses, technicians, scientists, surgeons, allied health professionals, and I'm sure I've missed some. But we gather together regularly to discuss complex cases and to support each other in our roles. We also advocate at any opportunity for all the people living with epilepsy in New South Wales and nationwide. I really do feel that the job I get to do in this field every day is a privilege. To look after and to become part of the lives of our patients and their families living with epilepsy. As you can imagine, this is as tremendous as it can be tragic at times. But I think the common thread that I notice is that the trio of improving awareness, acceptance and giving opportunities to our people living with epilepsy can really be life-changing. As a consequence of this, I've had the absolute pleasure of joining forces with Carol Ireland and her amazing team at Epilepsy Action Australia this year to help unmask epilepsy and bring to life a dream that we've both shared over many years of lighting the sails of our iconic Sydney Opera House Purple to honour today, Purple Day, March 26, the Global Day for Epilepsy Awareness, as you saw established by a girl at the age of 8, Cassidy Megan, who suffers from epilepsy herself. None of this could have happened without everybody's efforts. I thank all of my wonderful colleagues in the statewide service, express unimaginable gratitude to everyone involved at Epilepsy Action Australia, staff, volunteers, the board members, committee, and donors particularly. Without them, none of this would have happened. But I think most of all, as Carol said earlier, I thank the patients You guys are the backbone of this, the heart and soul, and you're the people that inspire us every day to keep doing what we do. You all know that epilepsy is a disease that's characterised by a predisposition to have epileptic seizures, but it's also defined by the neurobiologic, the cognitive, social and the psychological consequences that go with having epilepsy. Seizure, by its Greek derivation, actually means to take hold. And as Paul pointed out, anyone who's seen a seizure can really appreciate that it does physically take hold. But sometimes what gets left behind is understanding that the consequences of this disorder are equally as devastating for some people. And it's for this reason that we need to keep breaking down the stigma in our communities around epilepsy. Awareness, acceptance and a willingness to adapt in our communities can allow people with epilepsy to start living their best lives, to have access to the optimal care they need, to have the confidence to begin relationships, start families, get jobs in roles that allow them to work to their greatest capacity, and to have access to psychological and care that they may require to help them navigate their life choices and their life journeys. Epilepsy affects people of all ages and all genders, so this is relevant to us all. And crucial to this happening is providing an environment where the inevitable uncertainty of having epilepsy is accepted rather than being regarded as a reason to not give someone an opportunity. I know I can speak on behalf of all of my colleagues to say we will continue tirelessly to try to provide the very best care for our patients with epilepsy. And tonight is really exciting because it feels like a really big step forward in engaging the community in everybody here's tonight's collective mission to unmask epilepsy. So, as the Opera House sails become a hue of purple, let's hope this means winds of change for the 1% of Australians and the 50 million people worldwide who are living with epilepsy. At this stage, it's my great honour to reintroduce the lady behind all of this tonight. Carol Ireland is the Chief Executive Officer of Epilepsy Action Australia. She's the greatest crusader in epilepsy I know. She comes with equal measures of compassion and passion, and she is going to unmask the Purple Opera House, which has been lit purple to help unmask epilepsy. Thanks, Carol.
So as we actually gaze out upon the Opera House, and you'll all have a chance in the room to come and see that soon. Our online friends are actually seeing it now. Let's actually bust some of the myths that are out there in terms of epilepsy. For many people, overcoming problems related to the social stigma of epilepsy is harder than living with the disease itself. We hear it every day. A major part of epilepsy education involves dispelling those myths and ensuring people are given factual and up-to-date information. Let's look at a couple. Epilepsy is rare. Fact, epilepsy is one of the most common neurological disorders in the world. In Australia, you've heard it affects 250,000 people. It can occur on its own, or it can be linked with other conditions of the brain, such as stroke, cerebral palsy, autism, dementia or traumatic brain injury. Myth. Epilepsy is a mental illness. Fact. While people with epilepsy have a higher risk of mental illness, particularly anxiety and depression, epilepsy is not a form of mental illness. Myth. You should put something in a person's mouth to stop them from swallowing their tongue during a seizure. One we hate to hear. Fact, it is physically impossible to swallow your tongue. However, when the tongue is completely relaxed and if the person is lying on their back, it can fall off the back of the throat, blocking the airway. To stop this from happening, roll the person on their side, the recovery position, and after the jerking stops with their head tilted slightly backward, you could harm yourself or the person's teeth, jaw or mouth if you put something in their mouth. Myth. You should restrain someone having a seizure. Fact. A seizure will run its course and restraint will not stop it or slow it down. Restraining someone during a seizure is likely to agitate or harm them, or possibly even yourself. Myth. You can make a person snap out of a seizure. These, let me say, are things that families have actually told us, that people around them have believed. The fact, there's nothing you can do to stop a seizure, unless of course it's a medical emergency and you've been trained in administering emergency medication. The best thing you can do is stay with the person, talk to them calmly, ensure they are safe, be supportive and reassure them once they are aware of their surroundings. Myth, people with epilepsy cannot drive. Fact, people with epilepsy can obtain a driver's licence if their seizures are controlled by medication or if they fulfil the guidelines set out by the driving licensee authority in their state. Myth, epilepsy cannot be controlled. Fact, although there is no known cure for epilepsy, 3 in 4 people with epilepsy can be successfully treated with medications, and other possible options include surgery, vagus nerve stimulation, deep brain stimulation, and dietary therapies. Myth, epilepsy is a lifelong disorder. Fact, it is not necessarily a lifelong disorder. Many childhood epilepsies are outgrown, and up to 70% of people with epilepsy become seizure-free with medication. Fact, people with epilepsy can be incredibly courageous and resilient. We've stood beside them, we've learned from them. Let me say I'm very, very proud to be working with Caitlin and our epilepsy medical colleagues. I'm very, very proud to work with people with epilepsy. I think we've done a great deal to raise awareness. As you've heard, we're 70 years old next year. We don't plan to stop. We plan to continue working harder and harder to break down the barriers that exist out there and to bring new resources to people. We've been doing that for 70 years in New South Wales, and we've been doing it for over 20 years across Australia. Next year will be bigger and better. I'd like to now throw back to Catherine, who's going to take out the formal part of our organisation with a very special treat. Over to you, Catherine.
Thank you, Carol. We're over here now, folks. Hello, hello. Please give Carol a round of applause. She works so tirelessly. She is the mother behind this entire project. And that pretty much brings us to the end of the formalities this evening. I would like to thank everybody in the room here with me this evening. You're not going home yet, but our dear friends online are. So we would like to thank each and every one of you who spent Purple Day with us here at the MCA. We really hope that you enjoyed staring at the magnificent Sydney Opera House that was lit up for all of you to celebrate World Purple Day. And we're going to be singing you a couple of songs here. We're going to sing you one song for the folks at home. Would you please consider making a donation while we perform this uplifting number for you? A lovely little message. Happy World Purple Day. If you wake up and don't want to smile, if it takes just a little while,